Sewing friends, welcome to my sewing room. My name is Beth, and if you're new, welcome. Today I'm adding a border to the top and bottom of a quilt I've been working on, and I'm calling the quilt block a floating square. These little square blocks are 9 inches, and to make my block I'll need a 3.5 inch square, 2 strips that are 3.5 by 5.5, and then a square that is 8 inches that I cut in half diagonally. The first thing I did is I added my strips to that red center square. After getting that center strip made, I added triangles to both sides, and I really didn't need to make sure that this was centered. I was able to eyeball it because the way that I cut my pieces out, there's just a little bit extra so that there is a little margin for error if you don't have these triangles perfectly centered. After pressing my block, I trimmed my block to 9 inches. I found the 4.5 inch line on my square ruler here, and I centered that going through that red square in the middle, and then I just cut it to 9 inches. There was very little waste, and I was able to simply put this block together. Here's the 4.5 inch line that runs through my red square. You can see that on my ruler. If you are having trouble centering those triangles, then just press that middle red square, press your triangles, finger press carefully, and just line up that fold so that everything is centered when you put it together. I needed 14 of these little floating square blocks for my quilt for the top and the bottom border, but I'll also show you a picture of what it might look like if you were just to make a quilt just using this block. I used a variety of the lighter blues for the background of these squares, and of course a variety of red squares that kind of went with the flowers in my quilt. I did make these floating square blocks just a little bit bigger than I needed to. It just made constructing them really easy for me. There was very little waste and I didn't need to do a lot of math. And I just estimated how many I would need. I was just a little bit short. The long strip of floating squares wasn't quite long enough, so I did a little trick. I added a tiny strip of fabric to the end, which I don't think will be noticeable in the end, but it just simplified things for me as I was constructing this. I didn't need to make sure that that border was exactly the right width. So I just went ahead, made them, and then added that little strip. So that's how I do things in my sewing room sometimes. It's less stressful and I just enjoy the process. I love this quilt. It's just so pretty. And then at the end here, I'll show you a couple ideas for layouts if you just want to make that floating square in a quilt. So thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.